Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Club. My name is Meryl Johnson, and I am so proud to be introducing today's speaker. On May 20th, the National Urban League, the nation's largest historic civil rights and urban advocacy organization, launched its historic Jobs Rebuild America, Educate, Employ, Empower initiative in Cleveland, Ohio. We were honored to have the President, Mark Meryl, here. Jobs Rebuild America, a solutions-based, comprehensive approach to the nation's employment and education crisis, brings together federal government, business, and nonprofit resources to create economic opportunity in 50 communities across the country. Why did the Urban League pick Cleveland for the kickoff? I choose to believe it's because of the work that CEO Marsha Mockabee and her team have done. Marsha Mockabee serves as the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Her nomination was unanimously approved by the Transition Board of Trustees on February 9, 2011. She served the League in an interim leadership capacity from August 2009 until her permanent appointment in 2011. She is the first female to hold this position at the Cleveland affiliate. And in interviewing Marsha, I have a radio show, and when I interviewed her, I said, well, what makes females so able to do this work? And she said, because we know how to take nothing and make something out of it. As you know, Urban League was in trouble, and there was a storm cloud hanging over East 30th and Prospect, and now when you go by, you see this beautiful rainbow. In this role, Mockabee leads an agenda empowering African Americans to develop and exercise their potential on par with all other Americans through education, research, advocacy, and provision of services. And I just need to mention that a couple years ago, I was talking to a young Collinwood graduate who is now in college. Her name is Valencia White. And I talked to her about how the Urban League had helped her. And she said the Urban League takes you and molds you as a student and prepares you for college. She also said they trust you, they help you to trust yourself that you can keep going. And what I really loved is that she said the Urban League emphasizes the importance of building relationships and not burning bridges in case you need those people in the future. How many of us wish we had learned that when we were teenagers? So without further ado, I bring to you Marsha Mockabee.
Thank you so much, Meryl, for that introduction. And first, let me thank everyone here at the City Club for this wonderful opportunity to speak and also to really become a part of the history of the City Club. If you look at the history that's out there on the walls, many great people have stood at this podium and spoken about their visions, their programs, their agendas, and I'm truly honored to be able to be here today. Again, Meryl, thank you to you, not only a friend and colleague, but a firm supporter and advocate for the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. And that very generous and heartfelt introduction certainly made me feel welcome and comfortable to get on with the business, so thank you. Now, there she is taking a picture, my wonderful board chair, who has been by my side through this journey thus far, Patricia Ramsey of U.S. Bank. Sister Ramsey, thank you for believing in me and for supporting me every step of the way, including wading through the 29 applicants with whom I competed for this job. Thank you. Also, my Leadership Cleveland Leader of Leaders is also in the room. Marcy, where are you? Ah, there she is. Okay. Marcy Levy-Shankman, who is the leader of the Leadership Cleveland classes. And I just graduated as part of the class of 2013. And I'm so happy that you're able to be here to share this moment with me. Thank you. We often talked about how Leadership Cleveland prepares you for the next step, and neither of us would have known that this would have been a step that would have been there, but you know, I'm never surprised at the blessings that come my way, so thank you, and you are one of them. Thank you so much. The other members of the Urban League Board of Directors, if you would stand, please, all my other board members that are here, and be recognized. Board members, okay, thank you. Let's give them a hand. Okay. And in addition to that, we have our president of our Urban League Guild, Patricia Triggs. Pat, would you stand and be acknowledged, please? And also the president of our Young Professionals, Gerald Ford. They have been by our side, helping to move the agenda and create additional ambassadors and additional support for the Urban League, and I'm indebted to the both of you. Thank you so much. Now, my mighty ladies of the Urban League Guild, will you stand and be acknowledged as well over here at this table? These are some of the hardest working women in show business. They are under Pat's leadership, and let me just say too, I want to make a special mention of Kathy Lewis Wright. Kathy, would you please stand again? Kathy came to me right after I took this job with a vision to say, Marsha, I want to help you get the Guild back up and running. And she has worked tirelessly as a volunteer while at the Urban League, and now while on her new job at the City of Cleveland as a volunteer. Y'all hear that, Natoya? As a volunteer, okay? And so she works that way and just has a passion and a love for the Urban League, and we just appreciate so much everything you've done, Kathy. We love you, okay? These ladies did put on a stellar luncheon and fashion show in the month of May, so we're going to tell you now, be looking out for that next year. We had half of the T.S. Macklin Center this year on May 4th. Next year we plan to take over the whole shooting match, right, ladies? Okay, okay. And little known secret for those of you that weren't there, there were some very special models on that runway, right, ladies? So if you want to know, you need to come next year. The outstanding staff and internal and external consultants of the Urban League, will you all please stand to be recognized? These individuals accept my leadership when I say get in the boat. I don't know where we're going, but just get in and we're going to row, and I'll tell you when we get there. They work tirelessly night and day to make it happen for the constituents that we serve. Could not do what we do at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland if it were not for them. So I applaud you. There are other funders, friends, and partners of the Urban League that are in this room today, including those who partner in minority businesses, both on the for-profit side and the not-for-profit side. And they actually reside in the Urban League building. So the Black Professional Association Charitable Foundation, or BPACF, do we have somebody from BPACF? There she is. Okay. All right, Mel Trees. Right. Okay, glad to see you. And also the Consortium of African American Organizations, or KO. Okay, and we have William Holdup and Patrice, okay, who are, and also Sharon is attorney, okay, and attorney Sharonda Dobson, who is also, okay, thank you. Now, not to upstage anybody, but in the audience today is also one of the Urban League's most precious resources. And those happen to be some of our high school students from our Summer Leadership and STEM Academy program. Students, stand up and be recognized. We'll tell you a little bit more about them and what they're going to be doing. They've got an exciting summer planned. Now, also, I want to share with you that I have an inner circle of family and support here with me today. So first of all, my knight, not in shining armor, but in bronze armor, and husband of almost 44 years, the person who makes considerable sacrifices to share me with those that I have committed to serve, and provides the prayer and spiritual covering for our home and family, Deacon James Mockabee. I am also blessed and honored to have my pastor, Bishop Lincoln C. Houghton III, here today. He is the senior pastor and CEO of the Cleveland Church of Christ Citadel of Hope Ministries. His pastoral care and spiritual leadership of our flock is worthy of encouragement, or worthy of recognition, And this sheet thanks you for your prayer support and encouragement through my many turnarounds. Thank you, Bishop, for being here. There are other members of the Cleveland Church of Christ in the house as well. So my other sister members of the Cleveland Church of Christ, okay, thank you for being here. And finally, two of the best sister friends on the planet are also here today. They will go shopping with me, they will go on a trip with me, they will have dinner with me, they will laugh, cry, whatever I need to do, they are there. And these are none other than my sister friends, Sister Alvira Ross and Sister June Taylor. Thank you. Now again, to everyone, we want you to feel special because you know what? There was an assignment for us to all be here together today. It's no mistake. Those of you that are in this room had an invitation to be here today. And I'm so grateful. I see so many faces, and I don't want to start because I won't get through this. But thank you all for your love, your support, your encouragement, and for being here today. I'm hoping that for those of you that may not know as much about the Urban League as others, that you will find an inspirational point today about what we're doing in this community. And you might see a way that you might become more involved with helping us to move the agenda forward. Now, I want you to know up front that I have been fully apprised of the City Club speaking format and protocols. I've attended many forums here and have seen how it's done. So I will therefore provide you with the best informational format possible. Keep in mind that I am following the other Marsha, not the SHA Marsha, but the CIA Marsha, known as my Congresswoman, the Honorable Marsha L. Fudge, who spoke here recently. As my mayor would say, it is what it is, okay? So since this is a citadel of free speech, you're going to get the real deal straight from the horse's mouth. If you think of many charismatic leaders who are around, you know that they come not only with content, but with their own special personal brand. The Reverend Al Sharpton is known for keeping it real. The Honorable Frank G. Jackson is known for keeping it brief. The President Barack Hussein Obama keeps it presidential with a certain swag of his own, I might add. These people are all people who are who they are in spite of what they do. So before I talk to you about the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, which is my vocation and my ministry, it's what I do, I want to talk to you a little bit about who I am and my personal brand. I can sum it up in 5 words. And those of you that really know me well, when I start, you will be able to help me finish it. To God be the glory. Okay. So for those of you who have been waiting to see, is she going to say it on the City Club Forum stage, get over it, because that's who I am and that's what I do. Okay, whatever stage I'm on. I will always honor him first. So now with that out of the way, Alpha and Omega, proper glory given. So now we can move on. Who is Marsha Mockabee? In addition to what I do as the CEO and president of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, I am also a woman of God, a devoted wife, mother, grandmother, friend, and committed community advocate. You see, my role as the president of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland is intertwined, informed, and influenced by these roles. I will also confess something today that I'm not sure my bishop knows. But many of you know that is she in the room? She is not. Okay, from PNC. Lorene's not here? Okay. I love almost any song sung by the Temptations. A lot of you know that, right? Having won a contest that included dinner and a trip to Leo's Casino to be serenaded on stage with the song My Girl in the late 60s. Okay. And yes, all 5 original Temptations were there. This was, so now you know something new. Now let me just say though, this was well before becoming Deacon Maccabee's girl for life. So the story begins. August of 2009, much like young David called out of the shepherd's field to be anointed as king, I was called by divine appointment to lead the Urban League of Greater Cleveland as its interim president and CEO. Armed with 5 smooth stones of faith and a slingshot of determination, I stared at the Goliath of debt, dwindling resources, and diminished community reputation, and determined that because of the one that called me, it was indeed possible to slay the giant, cut off its head, and to be an integral part of the restoration of what has become a legacy civil rights organization. Certainly, in my own strength and by my own will, I would not have taken on such a monumental task at this stage of my career. He's already retired. I'm trying to get there. But to whom much is given, much is required. And so it is that my journey of developing the skills of a turnaround specialist began. Now, my Urban League story actually dates all the way back to 1991, but time will not permit me to share the multitude of details about that today. So what I prepared for you is sort of a Cliff's Note version of the state of the Urban League in 2009, where we are today, and where we plan to go with our aspirational goals into 2017, which is our projected centennial year. Let me be clear about my purpose in doing this. This snapshot is designed only for the purpose of providing contextual background as to where we started and how we have gotten to this point. I want to make it clear that I celebrate every level of contribution made to this movement by my predecessors, recognizing that each leader of this organization, past, present, and future, will have their own set of significant challenges for the season that they are in and will add to the legacy of this organization, each in their own way. Clear? Okay. So where did this start? Where was the Urban League in 2009? Between May of 2009 and July of 2009, the organization had been impacted by the shrinking resource base that was occurring in the nonprofit sector. Many of you, as I look around this room, know that story all too well. It was not only the Urban League going through that. But in addition to that, we had an infrastructure that was out of proportion to the amount of unrestricted revenue support that was available. We had a new organizational mission that was not broadly accepted within the community. There were a series of decisions made regarding the future of the organization that were not supported by key stakeholders engaged with the ULGC. Dwindling community confidence and grassroots support was going on. Signature programs had been spun off to other organizations, creating a lack of funder confidence and dispersed client bases. There was a need to overcome the daily comments that I got every time I talked about the Urban League, which 9 out of 10 people that I met said, I thought the Urban League closed. So for 3 years, that's all I did was talk about, no, the Urban League is not closed, here we are, this is what's going on, okay? So here are some of the actions that we took to recover from these things that I've described to you. The organization was downsized to better align to available revenues. We suspended, along with Pat Ramsey, my board chair, who we had a great lunch at a Chinese restaurant, and we cried and prayed over lunch, and I said, if you'll help me do this, I'm willing to try. And she's been right by my side as a cheerleader as we've moved forward. So we suspended the existing bylaws of the governance structure and adopted a transition board. We convened a building task force, and my friend Doug Brooks was a part of that, and some others of you in the room helped us with that. And Stephen A. Mentor, an anchor leader in our community, became the senior advisor to the board and to me personally. And Steve is not here today because he's off doing a national search for the new president of the Knowledge Works Foundation. Otherwise, he would have been here with us today. So I fondly refer to him as my mentor, and he's been just a blessing to us. So this new multifaceted governance structure allowed us to focus on the work of the transition board around pressing recovery issues. And these included debt management and reduction, rebuilding fiscal strength, restoring community confidence and reestablishing the brand, and recruiting key community leaders to assist in the recovery of, at that time, a 92-year-old anchor institution. We launched a targeted communication plan, including appropriate disclosure and transparency with existing funders, corporate partners, community leaders, and the grassroots community. I never will forget that at that time, some of my greatest companionship and advisors were Stanley Miller, who was then at the NAACP, and Arlene Anderson, also at MBS and the NAACP, and now my new friend, Sheila Wright, who is the new executive director of the NAACP. We're joined at the hip, and we work very, very closely together. So a big help in this work was TV5 and my friend Leon Bibb. We have become so connected that when I see people, they ask me, how's Leon? I'm going, he's fine. I see him most every Friday, but he's doing fine. And people ask him the same, but it's just been a real blessing that the Kaleidoscope program, in partnership with Kaleidoscope Magazine and TV5 and the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, has given us a platform to share our experiences and to share our movement and to keep people informed about the Urban League. That has been a great key in our recovery. So Leon Bibb, of course, is doing the noon news, so he couldn't be here with us today. For the first time in my UL tenure, we established a tenant occupancy structure by moving all of the existing Urban League services and staff to the second floor and leasing space to one anchor tenant who was Cassandra Collier-Williams, an attorney at the time. Now Judge Cassandra Williams, she is, so we lost a tenant, gained a judge, and a new law firm in Sharonda that she recruited for us. So we're so glad to have Sharonda Dobson as the anchor tenant now, and of course our other tenants, which we mentioned with KO and BPACF. So 2930 Prospect has become a new place. It is a hub of minority businesses, both for-profit and not-for-profit. And we're very, very proud of that accomplishment. We work to reestablish the fidelity to the mission of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, focusing on 3 core service areas: education and youth, workforce development, and entrepreneurship. All of these concentric circles working together and the services that connect in between and overlapping are all designed to empower communities and change lives, which is the mission of the Urban League. These priorities align with the National Urban League priorities, maximize our ability to attract and retain NUL grant funding, as demonstrated by our most recent Jobs Rebuild America tour, as Meryl mentioned, held on May 20th, where it was announced that over $900,000 of investment in our local community was going to be invested here in Cleveland to help some of our most vulnerable citizens. Now, let me make this clear. The $900,000 between, and Dennis, you'll check me on these figures, that's my fiscal guy over there, who keeps me straight and does a phenomenal job. Somewhere between 85 to 90% of those dollars go directly to staff salaries and to direct services for the individuals that we serve. So let me give you an example. These young people that are here today, they're going to be going to Kozai. They're going to be going on chartered buses to Kozai, and there'll be tickets and there'll be lunch. And they're also going to be spending some overnights at Kent State University. So that's where those kind of dollars go, direct service to clients. So the challenge that we still have is making sure that there's sufficient revenue for operational cost to keep the lights on, keep the heat on, keep the building going, and keep your CEO in place, I might add, okay? I will also say that these young people are going to have, I don't know, Miss, I didn't check this, I better. They're going to have an opportunity to earn a slot for a very special event. Do they know about it? Okay. Okay. To go to the Urban League Youth Summit in Philadelphia at the end of July. Okay? So young people, if you do all the things you're supposed to do and meet your requirements, okay, you've got a phenomenal trip coming at the end of July. The youthful offenders that we are serving, ages 14 to 18, under the leadership of Marva Richards, who couldn't be here today. She had a death in her family, but Yvette Jackson-Clark and Cordell Stokes are here, and they're on the team doing a phenomenal job, as are Danielle Lockhart-Jones and Keith and Gail, the leaders in the youth area over there. So these youthful offenders that we're serving are ages 14 to 18, and they will receive stipends for completing certain educational attainment benchmarks and for staying on track with their probation and moving to engage in pro-social and positive youth development activities. Tim McDivitt, I thank you for trusting the Urban League with those young people under your care, for helping to connect us to the judges in juvenile court, and for being a real partner in making this project work. So we thank you so very much. On the adult side, unemployed and underemployed individuals in our solid opportunities for advancement and retention, which we call our SOAR program, they receive bus tickets. They have access to a business wardrobe closet, and they receive additional support for expungement, driver license issues, and the like. Whatever barriers are preventing them from being able to become gainfully employed, we're there to help mitigate those circumstances. Now, in all the debate that's going on in Washington about providing these kind of services, let me tell you why we do it. There's a thing called Maslow's hierarchy. And what that says is that individuals progress through the hierarchy. At the very bottom are basic needs. And if basic needs are not met, people cannot advance to the next stages. And at the top of that is self-actualization, where most of us have achieved in this room. We have our degrees, we have our jobs, we have our homes, we're able to give back. What we know is if we can't get an individual past the basic needs stage, they'll never get to self-actualization. So we're focused on making sure that we can help them to understand. And no, it's not just giving a fish, but it's teaching people how to fish for a lifetime. That's why we do what we do. So now you've heard where we were. So where are we today? We have a reconstituted board that is currently in recruitment and development phase. Many of you in this room have the skills and the talent and the time and the treasure to be on the board and support us. We need your help. We'll be checking up on you, and you can feel free to talk to us. We really need your help. We've had a continued good faith effort with funders as we work to manage and reduce the debt. Some funders, which I won't mention today, their names, but they're beginning to consider debt forgiveness strategies and others debt reduction strategies. Yeah, that absolutely. Thank you. We have an up-to-date website that is current and easy to navigate, www.ulcleveland.org, and donations can be made online. We received major new funding to redesign and lay the beginning foundation for a new 21st century workforce development department and to include outreach to youthful first-time offenders that need support. In the youth development areas I mentioned before, we are piloting a new STEM initiative this summer with the support of the Nordson Foundation, Sisters of Charity, and 21st Century Funds. We also are doing that because our own Congresswoman, Marsha Fudge, has written legislation called the Project Ready STEM Bill. And what I promised her is that we would give her a pilot right here in her own district that would be able to showcase what she's trying to do on Capitol Hill. So we're very, very excited about that particular partnership. We have an emerging technology structure with a state-of-the-art computer lab. However, we are in need of additional technology to upgrade our existing meeting rooms to increase our capacity to serve all of our students simultaneously. I know someone in this room probably has the ability to help us with that. And what I'm learning is we have not because we ask not. And like the Temptations, I am not too proud to beg. Adding staff as possible with the 21st century skills needed to take the organization to the next level, while developing HR and staff development strategies to empower existing staff to grow and expand their capacity as well. We are constantly making adjustments to the changing funding landscape by diversifying the funding mix and creating a fee-for-service strategy such as the UBiz Connect under the leadership of my strategic business consultant, Michael Obie, over there. Let's give him a hand. We have also established new social entrepreneurship opportunities such as being a fiscal agent for smaller nonprofits and special projects with like mission and like synergy to us, but we do this as a fee for service. Yes, Dennis? All right. So now we are adding some more capacity to the Urban League. To our strong track record of quality direct service, we now have added our ability to provide technical assistance in areas of our best practices and expertise. We have an evolving role in advocacy and policy making, so look to hear very soon about our Equity and Excellence in Education program. It is designed to hold systems accountable for quality education for all youth, to ensure that parents are empowered to be strong advocates for their children's success, and that the Urban League and other legacy civil rights organizations will be around decision-making tables when policies are set and procedures are set around education reform. We're looking to increase membership and special event packages to ensure unrestricted revenue. I'll talk a little bit more about those upcoming things. We do have a table out front. Membership applications are available. Finally, win-win collaboration is in our DNA. We have successful partnerships with organizations of like mission and like synergy, and want to continue to evolve and grow those. So you have a sense now of where we've been and where we're going, or where we are. And now I'm just going to wrap up by talking about where we're going. The year 2017 is slated to be the Urban League of Greater Cleveland's centennial year. Deacon Mockabee and I committed together to be on this journey with the Urban League, God willing, until 2017. So, what are we looking to do? To be one of the premier models of an organization transformed from recovery to continuation and beyond. To have restored fiscal strength through the elimination of unsecured debt and restructuring of mortgage debt. The development, Earl, of a capital budget and operational reserves of a minimum of 6 months. Aye, aye, sir? All right. We would have a fully functioning board with revised bylaws and working committees. There would be a fully developed succession plan for the organization, because you notice I said 2017. Okay, so we have to have folks ready to step in at that point. There would also, my desire is to have an enhanced benefit package for my hardworking employees. Also a working talent development plan in place for all staff with the requisite resources to support implementation. We are pressing to reclaim the League's position as a first source soft skill training and placement entity. We also will be considered as a partner of choice in many collaborative efforts, and we will also be an integral player in increasing diversity and inclusion in construction, healthcare, manufacturing, and IT. If any of my other partners, Natoya is here, who are all partners on the Memorandum of Understanding for Community Benefits, please let me see you. Natoya. Chief Natoya Walker Minor has been a stellar leader in moving that agenda. She has been unwavering and passionate and creative. And Natoya, I just applaud you, because I don't know of anybody else that could have moved this agenda through the way you did. So, sister, I applaud you. Okay. We will have a 3-year strategic plan, and I'm going to speak those things that are not as though they were right now. By 2017, we will have a membership base of at least 1,000 members. Thank you. So, as I close, in the first 3 years as interim president and CEO of the Urban League, I cautiously tried to grow my own self-concept and outward projection to match what I thought was expected of me in the role, while balancing my personal values and keeping my feet firmly planted on the ground. I listened to a lot of advice and got a lot of feedback during that time. While I'm sure that most people in the room know the reality, let me set the record straight one final time. The financial challenges of the organization back in 2009 were indeed of such magnitude that the natural eye would consider the natural solution. And yes, bankruptcy and closing the doors were solutions that seemed inevitable. However, there's a combination called faith and favor. It trumps any degrees, it trumps any skill set, and any amount of experience. And while the resume of this CEO contains all of those, I wouldn't trade any of them for faith and favor. And so things began to turn around. My greatest lesson was this: while in the turnaround, don't allow yourself to be turned around. Thank you.
Today, at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to Marsha Mockabee, President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. We will return to our speaker momentarily for our traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate questions for our speaker now and remind you that your questions should be brief and to the point. Friday, June 21st, the City Club will host a panel discussion with leading public radio news directors from around the country on breaking news and getting it right. Friday, June 28th, the City Club welcomes Dr. Karen Mossberger, Professor of Public Administration at the University of Illinois, Chicago. For more information, University of Chicago, okay. For more information about our upcoming forums, to make a reservation, or to order a CD or DVD of today's program, please visit our website, www.cityclub.org. We are pleased to welcome guests today at tables hosted by Forest City Enterprises and the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Thank you for your support. Today, we welcome students from the STEM Summer Leadership Academy as part of the City Club student program. Today's student attendance is made possible by a gift from the Jeffrey David Epstein Student Memorial Fund and Bob Weisberger. Now we would like to return to our speaker for our traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. Holding the microphone today is City Club Program Director Carrie Miller. First question, please.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mockabee. How you doing? My question is that you talked about workforce development and developing soft skills. What challenge do you want to issue to the business community of the Cleveland area as it relates to developing soft skills? Well, we have a multi-level workplace here in the Cleveland area. So what challenge would you issue to the business community as it relates to the Urban League?
Thank you for that question. The challenge that I would extend is work with us, because we can become the first source program that helps to train people with the requisite skills. And not only will we just work with our clients to provide that, as my individuals are doing in the SOAR training, but we will also engage the employers to hear what it is that they want to be sure is being taught. So we will work in a collaborative manner. The other thing that I would say is, you know, we need to make sure, with the high unemployment rate that we have in Cleveland, we want to make sure that we grow our local talent. And so we want to work, again, in tandem with colleges and universities, employers, everybody in the continuum who's helping to prepare individuals for the workforce, to make sure that people have the requisite skills to get the jobs. Does that? Okay.
Hello, my name is Daria. Thank you for providing all your stuff, providing all your work for the STEM SLA program. What motivates you to make the Urban League a success?
Wow. The 19 full-time employees who I pray for every 2 weeks, that, you know, I have a paycheck for them, and you know, and they always get one, and that's all I'm going to say, right, Deacon? So probably my own children and grandchildren. I mean, we've been blessed, Deacon and I. Our children have both been well educated. Our daughters are now married. We now have grandchildren who are doing well in school. So just seeing how we were blessed to be able to achieve makes us want to give back. And every time I see the light go on, Meryl mentioned Valencia White. That young lady that she spoke about is now a senior at Alabama A&M University. Whenever she comes home, she comes to church with me, Bishop. You see her all the time. She's the poster child for Project Ready Career Beginnings at the Urban League, and she's just doing phenomenal things. And when we look back at where she started, and we see what giving her the love and the nurturing and the support did for her, we know it can happen for others. So it's just important to keep giving back. And it's for young people like you that are here today that just make me smile. This is one of the best parts of my job, is to see all of you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mockabee.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Nashayla. I also like to
Nashayla.
thank you for providing the STEM Summer Leadership Program for us. And my question is, right now you're currently the president and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, but when you were our age, where did you think you'd be at this point in your life?
Wow. That is a great question. Let me see how much of this I can share. Wow. Okay. I graduated from Collinwood High School, okay? So I was I was in Cleveland schools, and I got a great education. I met this fine gentleman and had my sights on getting married and raising a family, which is exactly what I did. After 1 year of college, that's exactly what I did. But you know what? Because of that 1 year of college that I got, I always knew I had to go back. I always knew that that wasn't the end of it for me, that I had to actually become educated, because as I began to get into the workforce and be exposed to different things, my horizons began to open, and I knew that there were a lot of things I was supposed to do in life. I didn't know what they all were. But my husband promised my father, who, signed for us to go ahead and get married, promised him that he would see to it that I got my degree. And as a man of his word, not only did he see to it that I got 1 degree, but I got 2 and a certificate in nonprofit management. So I think it's just, you just go through your stages, and I'll tell you what was the most important part. There were other people who believed in me and saw things that I could be that I didn't see. So I went on their faith until I got there. So you all listen to Ms. Lockhart and Mr. Gale and Ms. Burns, because they see things in you and things that can develop in you for your future that you might not see yet. So trust your mentors, trust your families who encourage you, and be willing to step out and take risks, because that's how you'll grow.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mockabee. How are you?
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Quick question. I know back in '09, Mark Meryl and I had a very extensive conversation about Cleveland and the transition, and you in particular. I know personally that he views Cleveland as one of the star affiliates in the entire network. Could you share with us a little bit about how they've continued to support you and how they're really cheerleading for us, or for us,
Yeah.
for
us. That's
for
right.
this affiliate, okay, to be the most stellar in the country, not just economically, but in the delivery of services and effectiveness in the community?
Thank you for that question, Greg. For those of you that don't know, Greg is a longtime supporter of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, was actually there during my tenure at the Urban League. I worked for Greg for several times, and he's been a friend and colleague, and has run Urban League affiliates himself. When Mark and his team from National came into the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and began to look at the circumstances, one of the first things that they said is, this affiliate has enough life in it to survive. And so they looked around, and after interviewing some of the staff and some of the board and other people, I was pulled into a room, and at that time I was the director of programs. So I was responsible for raising a great amount of the funding for the programs that we had that were funding what we were doing to deliver in the community. So at that point, I was asked what I did, how I did it, and what was my commitment to the Urban League and so forth, and pretty much it went on from there. I was passionate about it, did not want to see it close, had a commitment. A lot of the people who were on the staff, I either hired or wrote their job descriptions or had something to do with them being there. So I just felt that the organization could survive as well, and I was willing to give it a shot. And so when Mark and I sat down and talked to him about, you know, I know what it looks like on paper, Mark, but I don't operate on paper, and I don't just operate on what I see. He began to believe in the faith that I had, I think, about what could happen. And Pat, you know, talked to Pat Ramsey and others, and we just started putting it together. And he gave me his word. He said, you know, if you're willing to, you know, go the distance on this thing and move this affiliate ahead, we will give you all the support that we can. Now, I'll tell you, you know, they haven't given us anything. They've made opportunities for us. I will tell you, we compete hard. And we put out some of the most stellar grants. I mean, and my team does this, okay? They get a lot of push from their CEO because, you know, we do everything. And you know, I'm sorry if this offends you, but we do everything Jesus quality at the Urban League, okay? So, you know, that's what we do. And I don't know any other way to do it, and that's the standard that we hold. So it makes it easy for him to respond because we give him, you know, quality things to respond to. And he, you know, the support not only from Mark, but from the whole affiliate services network has been stellar. Herman and Terry are, I call them my New York God brothers, and, you know, we have a great time. They've been great. Anyone else?
Mockabee, just want to congratulate you on the success you're having with the Urban League and let you know that you're definitely a leader to all of us in this community. Wanted to ask you about your experience being a leader of a historically, maybe not historically black organization, but an organization that serves primarily minorities in the community. 20 years ago, I think it was a little easier to make the case of why we need the support we need in our community. But I think with the success of so many programs and with the change of population in the United States, sometimes the message of diversity seems to be watered down as we make more progress. Are you finding that you're getting more support from funders and corporate partners in this community as we have greater success due to the success of programs like the ones we have at the Urban League, or, you know, are you still having the same amount of difficulty?
You know, that's an excellent question. The case that I believe that we need to make now is an economic case, not an inclusion and a disparity case necessarily, because, see, the climate for that kind of case is gone. Okay? So I think now what we have to talk about is successful return on investment. So I'll give you an example. When I talk about my youth programs, I say the dollars that we can spend on the prevention side in helping young people to be resilient, to be successful in their academics, and to be ready for college and career are far less dollars than it costs to put them in a cradle-to-prison pipeline. So I think the Urban League is considered an economic first responder, and one of the shifts that the movement is making, would you agree with that, Greg? The movement is making, and we have to make as leaders, is really to keep our eye on the prize and to keep our fingers on the pulse of what's happening and to really understand. And I'll tell you, in our affiliate, we serve everybody. I mean, there's nobody that comes in our doors that we don't serve. So it's about making sure that the underserved and those who are on the economic margins are being served. And today, that's including more and more people than just the African American community. So I think those are the kinds of things we have to pay attention to. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Mockabee. Can I call you
Hi,
Marsha?
Dan.
Nobody's called you Marsha yet.
You
Okay.
can, Dan.
Thank you so much for joining us here at the
Thank
City
you.
Club. It's a real honor to hear your comments. You just mentioned the cradle to prison pipeline. Earlier you mentioned your work with youth offenders. And I wonder if you could talk more about your work with youth offenders and what you're finding actually makes a difference and how you address the root causes that led to the bad decision or the bad behavior that caused somebody to become a youth offender.
Okay. I'm going to look to both of my youth leaders that are working in this arena for years now, okay? And give them a chance, if I don't get it all right, you guys chime in. But the root cause is poor self-image in many cases, a lack of exposure to positive role models, too much exposure to the negative forces in the community. So what happens is sometimes when there's not that positive role model in the family or in the home, the folks at the Urban League become those surrogate parents and those positive role models that help those young people believe in themselves. And let me tell you, and I bet those young people back there would give me a high five on this, we operate with high standards and a lot of tough love. Is that right, y'all? Okay. And young people want direction. They want somebody to give them limits. They want somebody to give them boundaries, but they want to be respected, and there's a respectful way to do that. So I think that's what we're finding, and then again, working with people like Tim McDevitt, who has helped us to learn in the juvenile justice system what the issues are so that we understand how to approach and make sure our staff are sensitive to their issues. But you know, the young man who spoke on May 20th, I'm going to tell you what he said. This was a young man who had been a stellar student, was about to graduate as the salutatorian of his class. I can't tell his issue right. If I don't say his name, I can talk a little bit. He was in a situation where his mother was being threatened and was having some abusive stuff going on, and he got tired of it. So he got a gun to take care of his mom. He was in a car and was stopped and was found with the gun. He hadn't done anything yet, but he was caught with the gun. Now that young man's trajectory could have been totally shifted and changed. But this lady right here went to court with him, sat down and talked to him about, listen, we don't have to let this one thing stop you or block you. If you're willing to do the things I tell you and work with us, we can help you get back on track. Where is he going to college in the fall? Okay. There's only two options for the people that come through the Urban League. They either succeed or they succeed. Failure is not an option. I hope I met your expectations.
Today at the City Club, we have been listening to a special program featuring Marsha Mockabee, President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Thank you, Ms. Mockabee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This program is now adjourned.